Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, bringing you those top stories Monday to Thursday, and you know where to find us on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. And we have noticed yet again that there seems to be the Facebook clamp down on certain content. So if you do see us, please share us. We would really appreciate that. Or on our YouTube channel. You can find us at the Israel Brief, and our community is growing over there, and we would love you to be a part of it. So if you are there, please do us a solid and click on the big red subscribe button. But let's get into those top stories, and we've all been on the edge of our seat wondering what is going on with the formation of a government in Israel. And yesterday, in a shock surprise vote, Prime Minister Netanyahu's Likud party lost a crucial committee in the Knesset. Now, this is the Key Arrangements Committee, which is key to elections and forming a government. And they lost out on that vote as the Arab-backed Ra'am party went with the Likud recommendation, and that is of a unity government. Well, the Likud chief whip Miki Zohar has said that Likud might have to concede that they will be relegated to the opposition or to head the opposition rather than being able to form a government. Is this the end of the Netanyahu era? We will know in the next couple of days. We will see how events are going to play out. But what this does mean is that the bloc headed by Lapid is most likely going to be the one to proceed forward with forming a coalition. However, the Prime Minister has pushed for a direct vote on who can become Israel's next Prime Minister. He obviously wants to retain his role as the Premier of the country, but also to scupper Naftali Bennett's ambitions of possibly becoming Prime Minister. One thing we can say is that it's never a dull moment, especially in Israel's Knesset, and we'll be watching the remaining 18 days that are left on the formation of a government to see who will be the next Prime Minister, who will be tasked with forming a coalition, who will head this government, and whether or not we have stopped the trend of going to elections. In other news, yesterday the Prime Minister's office and the Ministry of Health released a joint statement saying that they had purchased, or signed a deal to purchase rather, millions of vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna for 2022. They said that this vaccine can be adapted to deal with any variants. Now, the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, said last week that we more or less are likely to have a third shot, a booster shot, to ensure that we have put an end to the spread of the coronavirus for once and for all. And Israel continues to be a world leader in our vaccination rollout program. In fact, the Prime Minister alluded to it yesterday, saying that he believes that Israel has beaten corona. And yesterday, Israelis were able to take their masks off for the first time outside in a very, very long time. And as somebody said, it feels strange, but it feels great. And just to update you on the situation for the Palestinians yesterday received 72,000 AstraZeneca vaccines as part of the World Health Organization COVAX vaccination program. And our final story for the day is historical. Yesterday marked 78 years since the start of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. This was the largest act of Jewish uprising or of Jewish organization against the Nazis during the Shoah, and the incredibly brave and courageous civilians who were rounded up and put into the Warsaw Ghetto, all of them Jewish, were able to hold off the Nazi monstrosity for at least a month with very, very little weaponry. It's an extraordinary moment in the history of the Jewish people and in the history of the Shoah. And participating in events were our Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi, the Foreign Minister of Poland, and various ambassadors around the world. And we remember the brave men and women and children, many of them very, very young, who stood up to the Nazi monstrosity during the Holocaust. Those are our top stories making headlines today. Don't forget to check out our content on our website, www.layoftheland.online. Last week, a very, very worrying phenomenon took place in South Africa. The BDS Alliance of South Africa published a letter trying to stop an eminent jurist, Judge Unterhalter, from being elected onto that country's constitutional court. South Africa enjoys one of the most progressive constitutions in the world that protects people's religious identities and their rights. And this singling out of a Jewish person and trying to stop them from becoming part of the fabrics of society is extremely worrying indeed. You can read Advocate Craig Snoyman's article all about it and events leading up to that on our website. It's also on our Facebook page. And if you like our content, don't forget to give us a like or a follow or share our content. We really appreciate it when you do. As you know, Facebook are clamping down, so any help is appreciated. There's that YouTube channel at the Israel Brief, and also we're on Twitter. Yes, we've joined the legions of twits who tweet. You can find us at Lay of the Land 5. Give us a follow. And for the Tuesday edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks, and I'll join you again on these very platforms this time tomorrow.